Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. My name is Brendan Plays. This is the show where we answer all of your questions that you send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums, in the YouTube comment section down below, over at the Facebook page, brendanplays.com/Brendan Plays official, or by leaving a voicemail at brendanplays.com. So not a lot of questions really this week because this is the Wrestlemania edition of the podcast. Wrestlemania this Sunday, so it is pretty much wrestling week, isn't it? We've got the Hall of Fame, we've got NXT TakeOver, which I haven't really been following too closely, but I'm definitely going to be watching that, and obviously all the other wrestling events that take place throughout the week. So it's really wrestling week this week, which is cool. Can't really say I'm too hyped for WrestleMania, but I want to be. I really do. I really want to get into WrestleMania this year. I really want to enjoy it as much as I possibly can, but the more I think about it, the more I am getting hyped for it, because there's some matches on there that I really do want to see, like the big three. I think will be great. Styles and Jericho, I think will be great, but there's a lot of matches there that I'm like, not real fond of. But if I get through those matches, I can really enjoy the rest of the show. But so we're going to talk about WrestleMania today. That's going to be the bulk of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Raw. Not a lot happened really on Raw, so we're going to talk about the highlights of Raw. Then we're going to get into all the WrestleMania predictions. We're going to go through the whole card, the pre-show included, and we're going to talk about every match, give a rundown of who I think is going to win, probably what I think is going to happen. And yeah, so it's a WrestleMania edition of the show. Before we get there, a couple little things I want to get into first. Next week will be the post-WrestleMania edition of the show. It'll also be episode 100 of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. A big show indeed. But it also lands on a perfect time, really, because it's basically the fresh new start of the year. It's New Year's. It's the new, beginning of what you can expect to see for the next year going forward in the WWE. So it'll be the post-WrestleMania edition of Raw, which is always fantastic. So we're going to have that great show. So what we're going to do next week, as of right now, the plan is I'm going to do a live show. So what we're going to do is I probably will go on Twitch. I mean, I think that's the platform that you guys know me best on, so I won't try and introduce you to anything else. I'll go on Twitch, I'll have a game running in the background, and I will record the show. So the show will still be available on iTunes, Spreaker, and I'll upload on YouTube afterwards as well. It will mean that the show will be a bit later than normal, so it probably might be on a Tuesday night for all the Americans, probably Wednesday morning for a lot of you, so I do apologize for that. But the show will be a little later, but it will be live, and what we're going to do is that we're going to be taking all of your questions. So we're going to come on and we're going to just take all of your questions. So you'll be on the Twitch chat live, just hit me with questions. I'm going to discuss whatever topics that you guys want me to talk about. We're going to talk about Raw, we're going to talk about everything, and I'm just going to give my full opinion. We're going to go an hour and a half, whatever, for a big special 100th edition. So your questions live as I go. So it should be great, it should be interactive, it should be a lot of fun, and it'll all be completely available after the stream. So you get to the stream live, you can hit the show as you go, or you can catch it on the download or on the YouTube later on. So you won't miss it, it'll be all there, but it should be a lot of fun. Also, something really cool happened this week as well. We had a shout out from Spreaker, which is the company that we host the podcast on. They are full of a lot of podcasts there, thousands of podcasts on that website, and we're actually named one of the top sports shows to watch, which was which is a huge achievement. Obviously, they didn't include like their radio shows or anything like that. We are pretty highly rated on Spreaker. I think we're one of the top 10 sports shows on Spreaker. But it was great to get a shout out. We weren't a name show like we were. They had the top 3. I think we were number 4. So bonus shows. So there were some that they definitely recommended, and we were one of those. And I really want to give a big thank you to Spreaker. That was great. A really nice, achievement, I guess you want to say. A bit of a pat on the back. It kind of feels nice to have that recognition, something that I haven't had really before. So the Spreaker shout out was awesome. So big thank you to them. So make sure you go to Spreaker.com and check out another podcast over there. Not sponsored or anything like that, but I like Spreaker. Spreaker's cool, and it's not it's not home to like your mainstream podcast, but it's really good if you want to check out, I think, more independent shows, something like mine, and it's great to go on that site to get your own podcast started. So that's where I host my podcast over there, and big thank you to them for giving me a nice little shout. So, alrighty, so let's get into today's show. We have Monday Night Raw to talk about, and let's get straight into it. So this week on Raw, we had Shane McMahon and The Undertaker altercation between the two, which I thought was the highest point of the show. I thought it was a great way to kick off the show. I kind of mentioned that on Twitter. I was tweeting a little bit more this week on the Twitter about the show. But I thought it was a really great way to start the show off. I thought, Shane looked good. I thought, the two had a nice interaction. And Shane obviously has got himself in good shape as well. I noticed that this week more so this week than the previous weeks, but he's definitely looking in pretty good shape, and I think he's definitely ready for WrestleMania. He's obviously been working pretty hard, and those two had a pretty good altercation. The back and forth on the mic was pretty good as well. I thought it was believable that those two would wanted to fight after what they were saying, calling each other's bitch and whatever. So I thought that was pretty good, and obviously Shane McMahon hit the table spot as well. Many people say that Shane missed Undertaker. I think he pretty much did. I think he caught a little bit of him. I think you'll find that the elbow did connect with the chest of Undertaker, or more so, maybe the side of the Undertaker, but it did hit him, but the rest of his body didn't. I just kind of found it confusing that Shane didn't, try and reposition the Undertaker to get him on the other side of the table, because Undertaker was on the far bottom of the table. And Shane was obviously going to be hitting from the other side, so he probably should have went from the other side of the other turnbuckle. But generally, when they do jump, they hit that top right turnbuckle rather than the bottom right. I guess it looks better on TV. And I guess Shane McMahon didn't really position Undertaker very well, and he didn't try and change it. I think he probably should have tried to put his whole body more so on the table instead of half of it and on the bottom side of it, and it would have looked a lot better. But I gotta say though, props to him. He put his body on the line. He jumped off. He tried to do it, and probably didn't work out the best. It still looked okay. It still looked like he got him to a degree. I thought when he did it, I thought he probably did miss. But I think when you watch it back, I think you'll find he did get him a little bit, not a lot, but he did connect, and most of his body just crashed through the table. So props to him for doing that. It was it was a nice little thing they did on Raw, and I think that's just the beginning of what to come. What's to come at Hell in a Cell. I think Shane McMahon's going to do a hell of a lot more than that. And I think they'll get it right for WrestleMania. I think that was just a bad mistake, I think, from Taker and Shane. And probably more so Shane than Taker, because, Taker can't just, get up and reposition himself, and that would look stupid. So Taker just had to lay wherever Shane put him. So Shane probably should have tried to reposition him a little better. Would have looked better for himself, probably been a bit better landing for him too, but he didn't do that anyways. So I think that's the one to look forward to. I think WrestleMania, I think Shane McMahon and Undertaker, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think, it won't be your traditional 5-star classic or anything like that. I think it'll just be a straight-up brawl. Taker and Shane will beat the crap out of each other. They'll use weapons. They'll throw each other through whatever. They'll use the cage. They'll use everything and just beat each other up. And I think it's going to be a nice match to watch. I think it'll just be fun to see two guys go at it, and the best man win. Whoever's the last man standing will win. That's how I kind of see it. I think it should be good. Last week I kind of speculated that I thought Shane and Taker would be the main event, but this week kind of confirmed that I don't think it will be, because they spent most of the show building around Roman Reigns and Triple H. In fact, I think they did it 3 times. I think so a number of times they did promos and they came out, beat each other up. So it was a little overboard. But having Shane and Taker open the show up seems as though, I guess you can compare it to Triple H and Sting from last year. It'll be in that kind of position, probably high up in the middle of the card, not so much at the end. Or maybe one of the last matches on. But I don't think it will be the main event. I think they're going to still stick with Triple H and Roman Reigns. I think Triple H is sticking to his guns. I think Triple H wants the main event. And he's going to get it. He wants the title to be the main event, and it looks as though he doesn't care what the crowd's doing. He's going to stick to it. So they really tried this week to work Roman Reigns and Triple H and get Reigns over, but it just fell flat this week. They tried their best. I thought Taker and Shane, they did that well. It was a one-time thing. They didn't try and do it again. They got it right once. That's it. Whereas Triple H and Roman Reigns, first time it was a little bit meh, just a little bit of a brawl, not too much. Then they came back at it again, where Triple H did the sneak attack, attacking Reigns. And Reigns came out again later on, and then they had the the full-on, everyone's there kind of brawl. I thought it was actually going to be like a full-on, it's a whole Wrestlemania brawl. Everyone's there. Everyone wants to fight. Everyone's going to have a dig at each other. But it turns out it's kind of like a lumberjack kind of thing where, Reigns is just trying to pull them both apart. And Reigns did the big spot over the top rope, which I think looked great. A lot of people still won't credit Reigns for anything. They just tried really hard this week on Roman Reigns, and it just didn't work. The crowd, no matter what Roman Reigns does at this point, it's not going to save him. The only thing I think will is if they turn him heel. That's really the last resort. They tried everything. They had Roman Reigns get the beat, the shit kicked out of him. Crowd still cheered, yay, they're beating up Reigns, yippee. Then Reigns did a cool thing over the top rope. Nope, don't care. Just no matter what they did with Reigns. They tried 3 different angles tonight. None of it worked. Triple H cutting promos, talking about how great he is and whatever. It still didn't help Roman Reigns, no matter what they did. So, is it poor booking? Is it creative's fault? I don't know at this point. I think they tried a number of different things. I think they tried too much this week. I think they had probably too much of the same. I think you could have done away with 2 of them instead of 3. I mean, 1 I think would have been not enough. I think that what they did at the end probably should have just been it. I thought probably maybe a contract signing between the 2 might have been enough, the traditional contract and brawl. But I thought, have the contract signing, have all the roster out there, to make sure that Reigns doesn't try anything on Triple H and then he gets some offense in. I think maybe that would have been simple enough and probably would have worked. Was it as bad as last year when had Reigns and Brock trying to tug of war over the belt? No, it was better than that. That was terrible, but it was a decent way to finish Raw. But I just think what they did earlier in the show, I think what they did at Roman Reigns and Triple H segment every hour, it's just too much. Probably 1 too many there. They could have probably done away with the opening one. I think the backstage beatdown would have been fine. The sneak attack, sure. Then Reigns gets his revenge later on in the night. I think that would have been better. But having Triple H and Reigns at the start of the show, I thought was a bad idea. I definitely did. And Triple H and Stephanie on the mic. I mean, Stephanie, this week her voice just grinded my gears. Normally I'm not too pissed off when I see Stephanie, but this week just something about her just pissed me off. I just didn't want to hear her talk. I wanted to hear Triple H talk. I was fine with that, but Stephanie, I just didn't want to hear a single word from her. Why do we need Stephanie talking anyways? A week before WrestleMania, just let the champ talk. Triple H doesn't need someone to talk for him. He can talk himself. So I didn't think Stephanie really needed to be there. She could have stood by his side and said a couple of things, but I would have just had Triple H do majority of the talking, if it, most of it, if not all. So I just felt as though Reigns and Triple H fell a little flat this week. Like I said, they tried a number of different things, but the crowd just wasn't into it. Mind you, the crowd this week was a little bit weird. I mean, it felt as at times, they're going well, the crowd was into it. More so when in terms of crowd reaction in a pop, not so much. They weren't really doing much, but in terms of chanting and saying things throughout matches, I thought they were on point there. But obviously, at times, not so great. But in terms of, crowd reactions when someone comes out, there was little to none for anybody, really. Nobody really got much of a reaction this week. So pretty poor crowd. And for a pretty poor Raw. I thought this week overall was a pretty lackluster show. And it started off great. You had this great start for the show, and then nothing could top it after that. It just went downhill from there and crashed and burned towards the end, I suppose, because at the end we had that 6-man tag team match, which was just an absolute disaster, wasn't it? It went on for way too long. I don't know what happened there. Were they just trying to fill in time? It was just boring. The crowd did not give a crap. It was silent, and if it wasn't silent, it was CM Punk chants, Byron Saxton chants, or RVD chants. Everything, you name it, was being chanted. So this match just got completely buried by the crowd, and I don't really blame them, because look at the guys that are in the match. You got 3 guys that probably irrelevant: Zayn, Owens, and Ziggler. Then you have Zack Ryder. You got Sin Cara, Stardust, and who's the other guy? I don't even remember. There's another. Oh, The Miz. Yes. So you have got all these guys in there that people don't give 2 shits about. So there's no surprise that when you put him in this WrestleMania position, yes, you've got a few guys in there that people care about, but when these other guys are in the ring, no one's really going to care. Like at WrestleMania, in this 7-man ladder matchup, when Ryder and Cara and The Miz and whatever are doing their offense, the crowd will be silent. They'll pop for Sami Zayn and Owens and maybe Ziggler when they're doing something, but for the rest of it, it's going to be pretty silent. It's going to be a pretty bad match. I really, I thought it might be fun, a good way to open the show up, but now I really don't think so. I think the crowd are not going to give it much at all, which will be very disappointing. And it looks as though, like, at WrestleMania, the stadium might be enclosed. I thought it might be an open stadium. I wasn't quite sure, but I think there is a roof on the stadium, so I would assume they're going to close it in. So the crowd reactions this year at WrestleMania should be a lot better than in previous ones, because I think, when you're watching on TV with the open roof, it can, to me, quite often the noise kind of escapes and you can't really hear it too well on TV. Whereas if there is a roof on the stadium, I think you should be able to hear a lot of things better, and it should be thunderous, really. It should be huge reactions. It should be very, very loud in there, which I think will be awesome, and I think WrestleMania will come across really, really well in terms of the crowd. When Undertaker and Shane are out there, and Lesnar and Ambrose, when they're having matches, that the crowd should be very, very loud, we hope. So that's pretty promising, but I think even the lower matches, it still should be enough noise to not be too worrisome. Is that a word? I don't think so. To worry too much about it. But, what else we got? We got Eva Marie. She came back. I kind of made a little bit of a prediction on Twitter this week. I sent a tweet out saying I think the 5th member of the Total Divas is going to be Eva Marie. Well, I was on the chat live on my forums, and people say, no way, Eva Marie is not going to come out, she's a heel in NXT. And I tell you, they don't give a shit what you are in NXT. If it makes sense for them and on the main roster, they're going to do it. And I think she's still, yes, a heel for Team Total Divas. Last time I checked, I thought Alicia Fox was a heel, Brie Bella was a heel. Divas don't have heels or babyfaces. They are whatever they need them to be. So if they need them to be a babyface for that night, that's what they are. And the next night they could be a fucking heel. It does not matter. There's probably like 3 people that really have true definitive size. That's probably Paige and Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. So probably 4 of them. The rest just toss and turn depending on the mood. I mean, look at the Bella Twins. The last 2 years, however they wake up in the morning is how they're going to act on TV. If they're feeling bitchy, they're going to be heels. If they're feeling like kissing babies and hugging fat kids, then they're going to be baby faces. But if not, well, who knows? You just can't keep up with what they are. But, look, I think Eva Marie, it's a throwaway 5-on-5. Who really gives a shit? We'll talk more about the match in detail, unfortunately, later on. But her being back, whatever. I actually thought it might be somebody interesting, maybe a return of someone, unexpected. But when Eva Marie came out, I think the crowd's like, oh, who is it? Oh, fuck, it's Eva Marie. So I don't think the crowd was too into it all that much. But, look, I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I mean, whatever. It's Eva Marie. Does it really matter? Not really, so whatever. But we also had Jonathan Coachman, the coach, ESPN Sports Center. The coach coming out basically to plug his show, came up with a new day. When I heard his voice, I'm like, who is that? I just couldn't pick it up at first, and I saw his face. I'm like, oh shit, it's the coach. So I like that. I thought that was cool. So it looks as though ESPN's going to cover WrestleMania all day or whatever. So that should be pretty cool. I think I have ESPN, but I'm not going to check it out really. But so if that's what you're into, that should be good. They should cover that pretty nicely. And that's really all there is to talk about with Raw. I mean, the rest of it was just filler and crap and stuff I don't remember or don't really care about. Maybe I missed a thing or two, but that's all I can really think off the top of my head. But so this week, obviously, is the WrestleMania prediction show, basically. So let's get into our WrestleMania predictions. WrestleMania number 32 at Dallas, at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. It should be, like I said, a really big crowd. Should be loud, should be a lot of fun in that way. WrestleMania this year is at a total of 7 hours. You've got a 2-hour pre-show, a 4-hour main show, and then a 1-hour post-show. And a lot of people have been complaining about that. To me, it's like really, you don't even really need to watch the pre-show. I'd probably watch the Battle Royal. That would be it. I'm going to watch the whole pre-show, obviously. I may as well. I'm going to make a whole day of it. But the post-show, I mean, that's 1 hour you can shed off. I mean, do you really need to watch the post show? All it's going to be is, Byron Saxton and Jerry Lawler and Booker T and Renee Young talking about the matches and what happened, just running through it, showing highlights. You don't really need to watch the post show. I mean, I think you can if you want. I would probably have it in the background whilst I'm talking on the live chat, but I don't think it's really necessary to watch the post show. So really, WrestleMania is probably 6 hours, and mind you, it's 2 hours of pre-show. So 3 matches I think is going to be in the pre-show, maybe 2, maybe 3. But 3 matches are on there. The rest, so that's 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes of matches. So there's probably 1 hour of matches, 1 hour of non-matches. They'll splice it in every there. So half an hour they'll do of analysis, then they'll have a match, then they'll do another half-hour analysis or 20 minutes analysis, another match, and they'll do a little bit more than another match or whatever. Then they'll be straight into WrestleMania. But so you don't really need to watch intently for all that time, and really 6 hours of WrestleMania, I don't really mind, honestly. I mean, the pre-show is going to be pretty crappy, let's be honest, but you can just flick it on and have it on, and it doesn't really bother me. The more WrestleMania, the better, quite honestly, and the more that I see, the better. Sometimes, for the better or the worse, but I really enjoy WrestleMania Day. The last couple of WrestleManias, I think I've seen the last 3 WrestleManias live, the last 4 WrestleManias live since 28, and it's a great day. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, WrestleMania, I think, might start at the pre-show might start at 7 a.m. this year, maybe 8 a.m. 8 a.m. this year, maybe. So that's pretty early, actually. So I have to get up at like 7 a.m. to watch WrestleMania if I want to watch the pre-show. So that's something I've got to contemplate. Maybe we'll skip the pre-show. I don't know. I kind of want to watch the Battle Royal just to see who wins it. I mean, it is kind of a throwaway Battle Royal match, but so... Alright, well, let's get straight into the pre-show matches. So we're going to kick it off. We talked about it a moment ago with the Divas, Total Divas versus the non-Total Divas. Looks as though Lana's going to be making her in-ring debut in this match, and it's going to feature Eva Marie now as well. So Natalia, Paige, Alicia, Brie, and Eva versus Lana, Naomi, Tamina, Summer, and Emma. The way I see it, it's just like, let's get everybody on the card. Let's have a match. Let's have all the divas on the card. So it's a pre-show match. Whatever. I mean, I don't really care. It's a match that I probably will have on in the background. Hopefully, maybe first. It'd be nice to know what matches are going to take place, because so I could skip the first hour. But I don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, it's just going to be a throwaway match. And the way I see it, I would probably say Team Total Divas will probably win. I mean, the babyfaces, Total Divas, will probably win. Eva Marie will probably get the pin. And maybe they'll turn on Eva during the match. I could see that maybe. And maybe Brie Bella gets the pin, because it probably will be her last match, if not last WrestleMania at least. So she'll probably get the pin, have a feel-good moment. Maybe she'll say it's her last match, she's retiring or something, I don't know. But if not, I just see Team Total Divas winning. Probably see them turning on Eva throughout the match, kicking her out of the team. Because, the Bella Twins took a shot on Twitter, and I think they even did a post-backstage interview on YouTube as well, talking crap about Eva, how they don't trust her and whatever. So they're obviously playing into that little thing there. And, what they did on Raw as well. She came out celebrating. None of them really wanted to celebrate with her. So I guess I can see that happening. And maybe that will lead to Team Total Divas losing by Eva Marie turning on them and siding with the other divas. Maybe. There's probably a couple of ways it can go down. But I think probably the most logical way I can see is probably, the babyface is just picking up the win. The Dudley Boys versus the Usos. I can see the Dudley Boys winning this one, but I would like to see the Dudley Boys win. But, just the way I see it, WrestleMania is such a babyface show. Like, the babyfaces win so often, but I can see probably the Dudley Boys cheating or something like that, or maybe using a table and getting DQ'd. But I would like to see the Dudley Boys win. Their heel run has been a failure so far. I'd like to see them do more with the Dudley Boys. I mean, what they're doing with Roman Reigns a little bit, what they did on Raw was okay, and I had done a little bit on SmackDown as well. But I'd like to see them do a little bit more with the Dudleys, and the Usos I just could not care less about right now. I'm so bored of them, so I'd rather see the Dudley Boys win. But realistically, I think the Usos will probably win. Since the Dudleys have got the upper hand the last few weeks, probably expect the Usos to win. And the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So I guess the big question is the Wyatts going to be interfering, or are they going to be in a match? Because if they're in this Battle Royal, I think one of them will win. If not, really, I have no idea who's going to win. If there's no Wyatts in this match, it's really just a match of job guys. It's guys we barely see on TV. We even saw Damien Sandow on TV this week. He made his triumphant return. He was out there in that Battle Royal, attack that they did, everyone out there. So, I mean, who knows, honestly. It could just be whoever they feel like. It seems like they're positioning Big Show and Kane as the main guys alongside the Social Outcasts. So maybe it might be somebody in the Social Outcasts picking up the win, as much as that pains me to say. That might be the way they go. But it could be a good way to introduce a NXT superstar, somebody to win this Battle Royal and, surprise everybody and pick up a great win. I think personally that would be the way to go. Use it for something like that rather than give it a throwaway victory to one of these scrubs in the Social Outcast or Big Show and Kane, these old-timers. Big Show won it last year. He should not win it again. And he's got no momentum. Neither does Kane. Those two guys really got no momentum. They haven't really been doing all that much lately. So what I would do is I would have an NXT guys debut. Who would it be? Maybe Samoa Joe would probably be my pick. That's probably really all I could see. And maybe a Finn Balor. I would rather him debut elsewhere, but I could do with a Samoa Joe debut in a Battle Royal. I could accept that. So I'm not sure, but maybe Baron Corbin debuts there. That might be a way to introduce Baron Corbin, a guy that I don't really care about. And if he has a debut like that, well, fair enough, whatever. So that might be a way to get him in up there. I'm not quite sure on Baron Corbin's status right now, how high he is up on the NXT food chain, and if he's ready or not to go up. I'm not quite sure, but I would have someone from NXT win that Battle Royal, because otherwise it just seems like it's a waste of time. And if they don't have somebody interesting in there, and somebody new, somebody exciting, I think it might just really go over very badly, and the crowd might just completely shit all over it. Because if you just have your Darren Youngs, your Fandangos, your Swaggers, your Sandows, your Tyler Breezes, your Big Shows, all those guys, just to get them on the card, if you just have that match there, your typical Battle Royal, then it just seems like it's a waste of time. It just sucks. We've had Battle Royals all the time throughout the years. I thought the Andre the Giant Battle Royal would be actually something special, but it seems like it won't be again this year, and I think this might be the worst year of them all. But the Wyatts don't have a match. The rumor is, like right now, that they might be interfering in somebody's match. Most likely, I would probably say Brock Lesnar's match, since they want to do the Lesnar and Wyatt family feud, and they've done a little bit of this and that between the two over the past few months. So it is quite possible that they might interfere in Lesnar's match. If not, well, where else will they be? It has to be in the Battle Royal. So I guess we'll wait and see. If they're not in the Battle Royal, then I fully expect them to interfere in somebody's match later in the show. So we'll start off the full WrestleMania card now. We have, I'm not sure of the actual order, but this is just the list I've got. So we've got the League of Nations versus the New Day. Looks as though it's going to be a 4-on-3 handicap match. There's a lot of rumors about somebody helping out the New Day. I've heard The Rock's name being thrown around a little bit. Who knows? But I guess we should expect somebody to come out and help the New Day beat the League of Nations. I think there's no way the League of Nations win this. If they do win, they might win, and after the match, somebody will come out for the save. Probably that's where you would probably expect to see someone like The Rock come out and clear house and save the New Day from a beatdown. That would probably be pretty cool. But that's one of the ways I see it. Either New Day wins by somebody helping them, or League of Nations win and they get beat down after the match by somebody. But I think the New Day winning is probably the most ideal situation, most likely. But yeah, Kalisto versus Ryback for the US title. I think Ryback has to win. I mean, Ryback, they've been building him up as this unstoppable, huge, big guy monster. If they have Kalisto beat him, who, by the way, when those two stood, eye to eye tonight on Raw, holy crap, it was a big of a difference, wasn't it? Ryback is an absolute beast. He's an absolute monster. If Ryback loses, then, well, look, you got Ryback is basically done. I mean, you lose to Kalisto and you're that size, well, forget about it. Ryback's finished. But if he wins, well, does he really get a big win? All he's doing is beating up Kalisto, who's half his size. So, not really going to matter all that much. But it is for the US title, which will help Ryback. I think Kalisto's title reign has been a flop. It really hasn't gone over well with the fans. The crowd aren't really getting into Kalisto. Again, is it his fault or creator's fault? I think a little bit of both. I think just Kalisto, I just haven't really gotten into his character that much. Not really much to like about him. We don't really know enough about him. Maybe he needs to cut promos or something like that. I'm not sure, but there's not really enough there to really get into his character. And for me, anyways, I'm not a big fan of the high flyers. So somebody like Ryback would be someone I'd cheer for more anyway. So I fully expect Ryback to win, hold the US title for a while. We'll see where he goes with it. But I like his new look, and I definitely like his new style and his new approach. So I think it should be good. I'm surprised they didn't actually have a beatdown on Raw. I thought those two would do something. But Ryback just, basically said he wants the title and he walked away. So it was interesting, a little different. The 7-man Intercontinental Championship ladder matchup: Owens, Ziggler, Zayn, Miz, Stardust, Sin Cara, and Ryder. IC title on the line. So the way I see it, I think Kevin Owens wins. I think Kevin Owens retains, and that way we'll set ourselves up for a one-on-one Sami Zayn versus Owens match. I think a lot of people are thinking Zayn's going to win. I really don't think so. I think Zayn is going to be up at the top of the ladder, one hand on the championship, and Kevin Owens will throw him off the ladder or whatever, it's cost him the championship and climb up and grab it himself. And that way Zayn, still pissed off with Owens, came so close. Owens, cost him the championship, set up for a rematch, and then that's where I think Sami Zayn will win the title from Owens. Because if Zayn wins the title now, what has he had? He's had like 2-3 weeks of build-up, and nothing really special. I would like to see these guys have an actual feud, have an actual one-on-one feud for quite some time and build it up. So I definitely want to see a rematch between the two, but I think Owens should be the championship and Sami Zayn should chase the title by himself. Him being stuck in amongst these other guys has not helped him at all. I mean, he's just getting, sunk to the deep end with the rest of them. He's just been getting fed to the wolves because of someone like Sin Cara and Stardust and Ryder and Miz being in there. 4 guys that people just don't give a shit about being stuck there with Zayn. I mean, Zayn is either just... He's got 100 kilograms of weight strapped to his legs and he's asked to float and swim. But he just can't. He just can't. It's just too much is holding him down. So get Owens the victory. Get him out of this championship matchup. Get him through WrestleMania. Then build towards Zayn and Owens one-on-one for the title. The next match is one I'm really looking forward to seeing. Is Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles. A match that's been building up for quite some time now, and probably the one match I want to see more so than majority of the card. I mean, I think there's probably 3-4 matches I'm really looking forward to the most, and this is definitely one of them. I've liked the feud between the two. I really have. It's probably the only feud I've really liked between the two, between anyone at the moment. It's had enough of a storyline for me, enough of a build-up for my liking. I like a good 3-4 month build-up for my WrestleMania matches, and this has really been the only one that's had at least a couple months. The rest has just kind of been thrown together. Triple H and Reigns has been brewing for a while, but apart from that, the other matches have just kind of plopped out of nowhere. Maybe Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha has been building for a bit as well, but I think Jericho and Styles are doing pretty well. I think Jericho is really carrying the feud, doing his best to try and get AJ Styles over. I fully expect AJ Styles to win, but I think it should be a great match. I think this one should get a lot of time. I think they should really allocate the minutes to these two. AJ Styles' WrestleMania debuts should be special. I think Styles will go all out. I think he's going to put on a 5-star performance from him. And Jericho is always a great in-ring worker. Always expect a lot of, something great from him. So I don't know if it's going to be a classic, but I think it should be a lot of fun. It should be a good match, and the two should do well. They've had a couple matches already, and I thought they were just kind of warming up to something bigger, weren't they? They were good, but I just felt like, man, this could be so much better. And maybe they were saving something that's so much better for WrestleMania. So hopefully that's the case. So I'm looking forward to that. And, like I said, the altercations between Jericho and Styles I thought have been pretty good. So, like I said, I think Styles will probably win and move on to perhaps... I think for a championship, maybe he'll come after Ryback or somebody. Maybe he'll, come for the US title. I thought originally he'd come up for the IC title because Sami Zayn's going to get that spot now, so Styles will move on to feud with somebody else. Maybe for a championship, maybe not, I'm not sure. But, yeah, so Jericho, he's there to put guys over at this point. He's done well. You know, he's got beat by Ryder this week on Raw, by the way. I didn't like that. I mean, yes, it's a roll-up and whatever, but I still didn't like how, you know, Ryder got the win. I mean, Jericho is far more superior than Zack Ryder. And I get it, you want to have Zack Ryder looking okay for the ladder match, but seriously, come on. Him beating Jericho is a joke. But, yeah, like I said, I think it should be a good matchup. I would like to see maybe a submission match between the two. I thought Jericho was going to announce a stipulation. Since we haven't had a stipulation, I don't recall, between the two so far. So I think that would have been pretty cool if we had a submission match, something different on the card. Because like a no-holds-barred, we're getting a couple times already throughout the show. And I think a submission match would have been, you know, something different and probably suited between the two. AJ's got the calf crusher. Jericho has the walls of Jericho, so it would have suited both guys as well. So maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity there. Our next match is the triple threat for the Divas Championship, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha. I really want Becky Lynch to win. I really like Becky Lynch. I think she's great in the ring. I like her character. She's a little different. She's a little, you know, quirky, but I think Becky Lynch is great. I think she's got a great story, and she's worked so hard to get to this point. I think Charlotte, her title reign is all but done. It's played out, needs to end. But I just get the feeling Sasha Banks will probably win. She seems like that. She's the golden girl, I guess, from Triple H, and she's held the title before in NXT, done so well in NXT, whereas Becky Lynch has kind of missed out. Becky Lynch has had some title matches already against Charlotte and missed out, so I guess you could assume that Sasha Banks will probably win the title here, but I definitely would like to see Becky win. For me, I want Becky to win, but the heart says Becky, the head says Sasha, because I think Becky Lynch is definitely my favorite diva right now. The last few weeks have kind of been cooled off a little bit. I haven't really gotten into the whole triple threat rivalry too much, because I just think I'm really bored of Charlotte at the moment, and she's getting too much promo time, and it's just kind of boring me a little bit, so I'm just maybe get the belt off Charlotte and go a one-on-one feud between Sasha and Becky. I think that should be pretty fun. So if we do that in the future, I'll be back 100% into the match. But at the moment, just kind of a little bit You know, the feud is okay, but nothing that's really exciting me so much. But I think it should be a good match. I think some people have been telling me that trying to tell me that this match is going to get like 20 minutes on the show. I really don't believe that. I think this match will get maybe 10 minutes. You know, the Divas, yes, at NXT they're a big deal, but on the main roster they're still not a big deal. They'll get a good positioning on the card, they'll get some decent time, but they're not going to get like a big main event, level amount of time. They're not going to get 20, 25 minutes from the match. I fully expect it to be like a 10-minute matchup, so I would like to see Jericho get maybe 15, 20 minutes, but the Divas, not so much. So, we'll move on to one of our big three main event matches. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. No holds barred street fight. So it will be pinfall submissions all around the ring. Use whatever the hell you want. So I actually think, the more I think about it, and when I saw Ambrose come out on Raw, where he had the collecting all the weapons for his match, I think I'm looking forward to this match the most. I think this match is going to be really, really fun. The way I see it is I think Dean Ambrose is going to take a beating. A lot of people think Ambrose is going to win. I don't think so. I think Ambrose is going to have all the weapons come out. I think he's going to come out with that same cart at WrestleMania, have all these weapons in it, and he's going to bring them out one by one and try and attack Lesnar with them. He'll get some shots in with some of the weapons. The other weapons, Lesnar's going to grab it and he's going to use it against Ambrose. And Ambrose, I think, will bleed. I think he's going to take a beating. I think Lesnar's going to throw him around the ring. And it's going to be a brawl, and I think Lesnar's going to come out best. I think Lesnar should win. Ambrose winning, it's a dream that a lot of people have, but I think really, you look at the guys that Lesnar has beaten. Cena, Rollins, Taker, Triple H, all these guys that Lesnar's destroyed. Having Dean Ambrose beat him, it just wouldn't feel right. It just wouldn't feel right yet. Don't think Ambrose deserves that win just yet. or is a high enough caliber superstar to warrant that win? Yes, if Ambrose beat Lesnar, would that elevate the shit out of him? Yes, it would. So, do we want to sacrifice a bit of Brock Lesnar to bring Dean Ambrose up with him? Well, that's one for them to decide. Personally, I think I would just have Ambrose take a beating, have Brock look like the bad guy. Ambrose will get cheered by the fans because he just keeps on getting up, just keeps coming back for more. He's not giving up, keeps on kicking out at everything Brock Lesnar's throwing at him, keeps on, getting back to his feet after steel chair shots, barbed wire shots, you name it, tables, whatever. He just keeps on getting back up. And that way, I believe the fans will respect Dean Ambrose even more, that he took that beating, that he never gave up. He gave everything he had until he had nothing left to give, and I think that will work. Pretty similar to what they did with Roman Reigns last year, but this time it's going to be much more violent, much more extreme, and much more brutal in terms of, weapons and blood and everything like that. So like I said, I fully expect Brock Lesnar to pick up the victory. I think it makes the most sense, but you give Ambrose the beatdown and he should earn the respect of the crowd. Undertaker versus Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell. God, who knows how this one's going to go down. I mean, Undertaker, 22-1 at WrestleMania. You would assume that he's going to win at WrestleMania, reserve and preserve his legacy at WrestleMania, and live to fight another day. But on the other hand, it could be his last. It could be his last WrestleMania. If he loses, that could be it. And will mean that Shane McMahon will run Raw, which I think we all would love to see. I think we all would love anything to change from Raw. God, we'd love anything just to be different and better. But it's something we're all hoping that will happen. I think we think in our minds that if Shane wins, then Raw will get better. If Shane loses, it's going to stay the same. So I don't think it's really going to change regardless. I think, yes, you'll have Shane running things, but will it really be better? Will it be different? Different maybe, but better? I don't know. I think with, realistically, is Shane going to be calling the shots backstage? No. He'll be an on-air character. And does Shane want to stick around? Does Shane want to work the schedule every week? Does he want to be here on Raw all the time? I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't think so. So, the way I see it, Undertaker wins, Shane puts his body on the line, goes through tables. It's going to be similar to the Ambrose thing, I think. Shane McMahon is going to give everything he's got. And he's going to get destroyed by the dead man, and the dead man will live to fight another day. He'll go through tables, a lot of people think he's going to get thrown off the cell. He's not going to get thrown off the cell. The cell is a lot higher now, a lot more dangerous. Shane McMahon's 46 years old. He's Vince McMahon's son. He's a millionaire. He doesn't need to fall off the cell. Mick Foley's a crazy bastard back in the 90s. Shane McMahon is a smart man. And yes, he takes risks, but that's just stupidity. Falling from that height is ridiculous. So I don't think they're going to go outside the cell. I think a lot of people think they might go up on top of the cage. A lot of people think they might brawl outside the cell. I don't think they will. I think it'll just be all in the cell. They'll use the cell. I think they will use different weapons as well. Like I said, maybe a table, something like that. But I really don't think they're going to go much outside the cell. Maybe if the match starts beforehand, before they lock the cell, they might start the match outside the Hell in a Cell, but that would really be the only way. I think once they lock the cell, that'll be it. They'll stay in there and they'll fight in there. Will anybody interfere? I mean, if they want to set up another feud for The Undertaker, yes, but who would you bring out? I don't know. I really don't know. Who would you bring out? So, I don't know. Maybe Vince McMahon will probably come out and he'll try and do something. Maybe he'll try and get a dodgy ref in there and try and stop Shane from taking over. I could see something like that. Maybe Vince McMahon will open the cage up, and that's how they'll get outside the Hell in a Cell if that happens. So I could see Vince McMahon coming out halfway through the match. Shane McMahon might be dominating The Undertaker for a period of time. Vince McMahon gets worried. He comes out. He tries to do something about it. And then the Hell in a Cell gets opened up and, whatever. They go outside the cell, or maybe somebody gets involved and interferes that way. So I definitely think Vince McMahon will have some kind of role to play in it. You'd have to say yes, he will, because he's been, the main vocal point of the storyline. So, but yeah, I think Undertaker's going to win. I really don't think Shane McMahon's going to win. I think if you have Undertaker lose, it just kind of ruins and degrades his legacy, and also degrades the Lesnar win. Plus, it's Shane McMahon. I mean, Shane McMahon is not really a wrestler. He's hasn't wrestled in a long time. So to have Shane McMahon beat the Undertaker just wouldn't feel right. It just wouldn't feel right, and I don't think it'd be believable as well. I really don't think the fans will buy into that. Do you really think Shane McMahon can beat the Undertaker at Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania? I mean, you look at the history of Undertaker. You look at kayfabe-wise, his wins and losses. Realistically, Shane McMahon, if this was an odds, forget about the fact that it's scripted or whatever. If this was a real fight between the two, you'd probably say Undertaker is, maybe like $1.05 odds of winning. Shane McMahon is like a 1% chance of winning. You would say Shane McMahon is pretty much impossible. There's no way in hell he would beat the Undertaker. But I just think it is possible. I think it definitely is possible Shane McMahon may win, but I just don't think he's going to stick around after WrestleMania. I think he's just here to kind of help WrestleMania out, boost up the ratings, boost up the network subscriptions, give an entertaining match, give an exciting match for the card, let Taker work with somebody, and that'll be it. I don't think Shane McMahon's going to stick around too much after WrestleMania. So it'll suck, but I think that's just the way it's going to be. So Taker to win that one. And for the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Triple H versus Roman Reigns. So the WWE World title on the line. I think it's a given that Roman Reigns is going to win. Now, the question is, does Roman Reigns turn heel? I would like to say yes. I think Roman Reigns has to turn heel. How would he do it? Well, the only way I've kind of proposed it is if he wins the belt, he's celebrating, the crowd's probably booing him already. Ambrose comes out, celebrates with Reigns. Ambrose is probably in a sling or something. He's already been beat up from Lesnar before. He's got, staples in his head or something. He's already beat up and, got bandages all over him. But he still comes out to celebrate with his best friend. He just won the belt back. This is a great moment. And Roman Reigns beats the shit out of him even more. Roman Reigns just, grabs a hold of Ambrose, tosses him down, hits the spear, takes out Ambrose and just beats him up for trying to take his spotlight or something like that. Trying to take his spotlight, or he's all about himself now, or, just an easy way to do that. And straight away you have Ambrose and Roman Reigns for the belts. You've got a big feud lined up. Roman Reigns will get massive heat for that, I think. I think the fans will be hot for Ambrose at Mania. So whatever Ambrose does, the crowd's going to love. And whatever Roman Reigns does, the crowd is going to hate. So I think it'll go over pretty well. A heel turn for Reigns, I think, will be successful. I don't think the crowd is going to cheer it. I think the crowd will boo it. And that's really the only way I can kind of see it happening. Will Reigns join the Authority? God, I hope not. It would make no sense whatsoever. It'd be stupid. It'd be ridiculous. The way I'd like to see it happen is just Roman Reigns wins, and you just remove Triple H from the picture. Maybe he gets a rematch at Extreme Rules. Maybe. Maybe he does that, and Ambrose comes out. And I don't know. But maybe you do that, but Triple H and Reigns, you try and force them to join together. I just don't think it'd just be ridiculous. It'd just be backwards, asinine booking. Let's not do that. So, but I think it's very possible that Reigns will just win and celebrate, and that'll be the end of WrestleMania. I could definitely see that. Would not surprise me, but realistically, if they're smart, they need to do something. They've got to have something, got to give us something big to happen to close out WrestleMania. A Roman Reigns title win is not going to be enough to get people to come back, for Raw the next day. A Reigns heel turn might be enough and be like, holy shit, Reigns has turned heel, this is interesting, let's check out what happens next. I definitely would love, I'd definitely be checking that out. So, I think Reigns has to turn heel. And I think the only way you can do it successfully is by using Dean Ambrose. So, any Triple H Authority, no. So, that's the way I kind of see it. Triple H winning, I mean, if you have Triple H win, I think that would just be ridiculous. I mean, you build Roman Reigns up all this time to have him lose at WrestleMania to Triple H. It just wouldn't make any sense, would it? Why? Why should Triple H win? Like, why does he need the belt? Why? So it wouldn't make any sense to me. I think it'd be ridiculous. So I definitely don't want to see that. Definitely don't want to see that. But that's the WrestleMania wrap-up. That's the card. That's the full predictions for the show. Let me know in the comment section your predictions for the show. Who do you think is going to win each match? Do you disagree with some of the things I've been saying? Do you agree with some of the things I've been saying? What are some of your ideas for some of the big matchups? Like, what do you think? How do you think Triple H and Roman Reigns is going to go down? How do you think Shane and Taker is going to go down? Those are the two that I'm the most confused about. That's the most intrigued about. I don't know how the hell those two are going to go down. So let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts about those two matchups. We do have some questions this week. We're not going to do what is Brendan playing this week. We're just going to keep rolling on with the WrestleMania chat. So this week we have a few other non-WrestleMania questions as well. They'll be just mixed in, so we just have the full questions this week. So this one comes from Carl Fitzpatrick. What new features would you like to see in WWE 2K17? Well, I have proposed a GM mode feature in the past. I thought that would be a pretty cool idea. I would like to see the feature of incorporating real-life WWE more so into their game than they do now. With UFC 2, they obviously incorporate the live fight thing, so you can kind of easily simulate real-life fights. So if you had WrestleMania, for example, right now, you can load up WWE 2K17, or 2K16 at the moment. You can load up the game, and immediately you can play through the whole WrestleMania card, so you can have... or you can replay what just happened on Raw, the main event match on Raw or whatever. So things like that, just incorporating real-life WWE more, like they do in NBA 2K as well. Story mode creator definitely needs to come back. 100% has to come back. I miss that so much. I need that. I need it. So please bring it back. And that's probably the big two that I would like to see. Maybe, like a GM mode I think would be great, but it'd be so difficult to do at the moment. I have proposed an idea that could work, but it's very, left field, but and unlikely. And another one is, if you could take any superstar that's been injured and put them into WrestleMania, who would it be and why? At the moment I would probably bring back John Cena, and that might be a bit surprising to you guys, but I think John Cena always delivers. It's always a big WrestleMania match. I think Cena's always delivers a great match at WrestleMania for the most part, so I think you can really rely on Cena to deliver. It's either him or maybe Rollins, and it'd be a toss-up between Rollins and Orton, because I do definitely like Randy Orton. I think he and Rollins had a great match last year, definitely, but I thought Seth Rollins was doing well, and I think he could have had a great part to play at WrestleMania. But I would definitely probably say Cena. I think Cena, bringing back WrestleMania, he would have a great match. He would obviously have a huge high-profile storyline. Would he be in the title picture? No, I don't think so. But he would probably be in a big match. Maybe he would have wrestled Undertaker instead of Shane McMahon, something like that. But I definitely would have had Cena out there. And I was hoping Cena was going to appear on Raw. I heard he was backstage. I kind of got a feeling that he might appear on Raw to interrupt Triple H and kind of do the whole Legends thing and talk about how good Roman Reigns is, but they didn't do that. This one's from Oakley Tiger. On your channel, did Punk get his ass beat in UFC so bad that he came back to WWE at Money in the Bank and Universe Mode? I thought this one was funny. Last week we talked about how much hate I got about the whole CM Punk video. Now this week I brought back CM Punk to Universe Mode, and I already planned to bring back Punk since WrestleMania. As soon as he left, I was always bringing him back at some point, so it was a great swerve. I didn't talk about that early on. I forgot to mention Money in the Bank, but the Twitch stream was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It was really probably one of the highlights of my YouTube quote-unquote career, my time throughout YouTube. 350 people, for the majority of the show, at least 300 at the minimum throughout the entire pay-per-view. The crowd was, the chat was going nuts for a lot of the big moments. When Punk came back, I posted a GIF on my Twitter. Everyone was the chat just exploded. Everyone was going crazy. And it was funny, throughout the whole pay-per-view, everybody was saying, bring back CM Punk. Are you ever going to bring back CM Punk? And I was telling everybody, no. I think I said there's more chance of me winning the lottery than bringing back CM Punk. Then obviously an hour later, well, there he is. So I kind of swerved everybody because I was like, man, everyone wants to see CM Punk. Hopefully people don't expect him to see it. Hopefully it's still a big surprise, because I knew that they were going to go nuts when he came back, so I was still hoping it was going to be special, and it definitely was. It was amazing. I had a huge smile on my face. It was such a great time, and it definitely, something like that motivates me just to keep going. Sometimes, maybe my subscribers count are going down, not growing as quickly, or my view counts might be down. You have these bad days, but these times like this when everything's worth it, all the hard work, pays off, and you just have such a great time. And I think everybody really enjoyed Money in the Bank, so such a great pay-per-view. I thought it wasn't that great, honestly, because I felt as though there was a lot of matches, so the matches couldn't be as long as they normally were. Normally I would like to do a big 20-minute main event, and both title matches really long, but I couldn't really do that this time, so I had to kind of shorten it. So I didn't think they'd be as great, but I still thought some of the matches were fantastic. Obviously Rock and Ziggler was one of those, but most people were very fine with it. So, I thought it was just a big jam-packed show. It was going to be very long, but it turned out to be okay. But, so Money in the Bank was fantastic. Everyone that turned out live, thank you so much. Everyone that checked the show out on YouTube, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support, all the great feedback that we got. And SummerSlam coming up next. I'll make an announcement about SummerSlam probably tomorrow or today, and we'll go from there. So check out my Twitter and Facebook page and the website, BrendanPlays.com. Keep an eye out for that, and you'll see the first initial SummerSlam announcements. Next up is coming from Easton Columbus. Ooh, Abon Italia? We'll go with that. He's got a few quick answer questions. So the first one, which Shield member do you like the most? In the Shield was Roman Reigns. Batman or Superman? Batman. Iron Man or Captain America? I don't really like either, but I'll probably say Iron Man. And, well, he's did it again anyways. Reigns, Rollins, Ambrose, definitely Reigns. Outside of the Shield, I would probably say Ambrose for me. Sasha, Becky, or Charlotte. I said this earlier, definitely Becky. This one's from Roy Boy. What are your least favorite music genres? Country music, I really don't like. Even pop music right now, I really don't like mainstream pop music right now. It's just so awful. I mean, maybe 15 years ago I was really into it, but now I just don't like it at all. And I don't really get the whole kind of dubstep and all that, the techno kind of music. That's really not my thing either. So, my favorites is more, a bit of rap and metal or rock music mostly. So, those are the ones I like the most. Another one from Roy Boy. Do I think Cesaro will ever win the WWE Championship? At this point, no, I don't. I really would love to say yes, but I think at this point, he's going to miss out. I think there's going to be guys coming through, and he'll get pushed aside. He's already been, pushed aside for a lot of guys, and for whatever reason, Vince McMahon is not all that high on him. Doesn't see him as a star. His promo ability is not good enough for them, so I just think he's going to get tossed aside and never quite get there, which is a real shame. He'll be one of those guys we look back in 10 years' time and say, man, he was great, wasn't he? I think he's going to be like Shelton Benjamin. Absolutely phenomenal in the ring. You see him, this guy's fucking awesome. Man, it would have been great to see him as world champion, but he never got there. I think Cesaro is going to be just like that. This one from Thomas Speller. Do you think WWE DVDs are dying out because of the network? I think DVDs in general are dying out right now. I haven't bought a DVD in years, and why would I? I mean, you can stream it on Netflix. I mean, you can rent it on the PlayStation or the Xbox. You can rent a movie like we did. We rented a movie last night. I forget what it was called. It was okay. The Secret in Their Eyes or whatever. It came out last year. But it was okay. When we rented that, it was like $6 to rent it on the PlayStation. So why would I buy a DVD? I can rent it. I don't like watching movies twice. I watch a movie once. That's it. I don't like watching movies twice. To me, unless I didn't get it. Like if it's one of those movies that you need to watch twice to get it all, maybe I'll watch it twice. But most often, I only like to watch it once, unless the last time I saw it was like 15 years ago. Otherwise, once only. Unless it's fucking phenomenal. So, for me, DVDs, I don't care for them. And yes, in terms of the WWE, well, obviously, why would you buy a $20 DVD, at least at $20 in Australia, why would you buy a $20 WWE DVD when you can get the network, for $10? You're buying a pay-per-view, you can buy, you're buying, Backlash from 2007 for $15 at the store. when you can just watch it for $10 and everything else on the network, So if you buy DVDs now, is just, I'm sorry, but it's kind of ridiculous. Unless it's not available on the network. If it's not available, like their documentaries that they do, fair enough. But if you're buying pay-per-views and things like that, well, I don't know what to say to you. This one's from Antonadu. Are you ever going to do WWE career mode on 2K16? No interest at all. I really cannot get into career mode. I just do not like it. It bores the hell out of me. I try playing it on stream. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. No career mode from me. And I think it's way too late in the piece to do it anyways. 2K17, we'll open up that can of worms again and we'll discuss it then. If it's better, if I'm enjoying it, then I think there's a 95% chance I'm going to do a career mode on the next game. But on 2K16, 0% chance. None whatsoever. This one comes from How Plays FIFA. Do you think Vince will buy TNA like he did to ECW and take all their stars, or let it run into the ground and take their stars that way? I think Vince has really no desire to buy TNA at all. I think he'll just let it die. Maybe he'll pick up the video collection later on when it's worth peanuts, but I don't think he's going to buy TNA anytime soon. And I think he's already taken all their stars. I mean, he's got Styles, he's got Samoa Joe, he's got Aries, Bobby Roode, and Eric Young, I would say, are on their way. I heard a rumor that Eric Young is likely to come in, but I don't think I heard they're not really interested in Bobby Roode. They're more interested in Eric Young, which is obviously very surprising. I think Bobby Roode's great. So hopefully they both come, and it'll be a matter of time till EC3 comes back and the rest of them. So they don't really need to buy it. All their stars are coming anyways. This one's from Decent Stuff. Why do you think that WWE is so low on Damien Sandow? I have no idea. I think maybe the WWE kind of resented Sandow a little bit from the crowd getting behind him when he was paired up with The Miz. I think they wanted to get The Miz over. And so when Sandow was getting all the support and getting all the reactions, I think they kind of resented him for that. And we're not happy about that. So the WWE's always treated Sandow like crap. They gave him the stupid, goofy gimmick, every week dressing up like something. I mean, that was ridiculous, and it ended up working okay for him. So I think they were, annoyed that kind of worked, and the crowd kind of got into it, and then he did the whole Macho Man thing, and unfortunately that died out. And after that died out, I guess they had no purpose for him at all. They didn't have anything for him to do, so they've just forgot about him. I mean, first time we saw him on Raw, but nearly a year or whatever on this week. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but I guess it's just the way it is. Some guys just miss out. This one's from Chris Wilde. Why isn't Tyler Breeze in the ladder match? He's been going for the IC title since he was called up. I have no idea. I think Tyler Breeze would have made much more sense than Zack Ryder. But I think Tyler Breeze is another guy that Vince is just not high on at all. I just think he doesn't understand the gimmick. I think he doesn't like the gimmick. I think he just thinks, what the hell's this, And he's not not a WWE guy. He's an NXT guy. And a lot of NXT guys just fail from the get-go. So Vince just doesn't have anything for Tyler Breeze. No care for him whatsoever. So he probably thought, well, hey, let's give it to Zack Ryder instead of Tyler Breeze, which I think is ludicrous. But Tyler Breeze has been buried. He's done. He's gone from being an upper mid-card guy in NXT to even a lower level main event guy to literally he can not even buy 5 seconds on the show at the moment. Another one from Road Boy. Do you think Mick Foley or another legend will interfere in the Dean Ambrose versus not Mick Foley, Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar match? I thought it was going to be Ambrose and Mick Foley there for some reason, but no, I don't think so. I think it's possible that the Wyatts might show up, like I said earlier, because of the whole Lesnar and Wyatt thing, but a legend, that would mean a legend will probably kind of like have some altercation of Lesnar, and I don't think they'll do that. I think it's very likely that they might have a group of legends and they'll have a backstage segment with Ambrose before his match. I could see a group of hardcore legends all talking to him, giving a pep talk before the match starts. Foley, Funk, they might bring back some other guys, and they'll all give Ambrose a bit of a pep talk before his match against Lesnar. And that'll probably be it. I don't think they'll come out to the ring or anything like that. This one's from Adam Lawton. After WrestleMania is the start of a new year in the WWE, how would you like the WWE to change the way they are running things, considering every mistake they have made? Well, I think the authority needs to probably go. I think that's really played out at this point. I think we need some new authority in charge. So obviously Shane McMahon would be a breath of fresh air. I think you need I think you need a Roman Reigns heel turn. I think you need something like that from WrestleMania to give you some guidance and direction from the get-go. I would like to see the Balor Club debut, at least Finn Balor. I would like to see him come in, something different, a big debut. Enzo and Cass come in and kind of hype up the tag team division a little bit. And I think I would just like to give more focus to some guys that really deserve it. I think like the League of Nations is just absolutely dreadful. I would split them apart, have them go their separate ways, just kind of try and build a few more guys up. We need to create some new stars. We've got a lot of guys out injured right now. The thing is, in the next 3 months, after probably SummerSlam, everybody will be back, pretty much. So you're going to have Orton, you're going to have Cesaro, you're going to have Rollins, you're going to have Cena, you're going to have all these guys back for the most part, unless they got injured recently, but most of the guys will be back. By the way, Luke Harper out for 6 months, I'm hearing, so that's a shame. So, yeah, so you're going to have most of these guys back, so you're going to have a lot of guys to work with. So if you could build up an Ambrose right to the main event point, get Kevin Owens up to that point as well, maybe someone else, then all of a sudden you've got all these guys coming back, and you've got all these guys who are coming back to feud with these guys you just got over, and it could create some exciting matchups and some interesting times. So for me, I would just try and elevate a few guys, maybe AJ Styles, Owens, like I said, Ambrose. I think Ambrose is already a main event guy, but I would just think Ambrose might need some wins to kind of solidify himself, which is kind of contradicting what I said earlier when I think Lesnar should win. But I think Ambrose is there anyway, so maybe you bring up an Owens, a Styles, maybe Sami Zayn as well. You try and elevate a few guys, so when you got you guys coming back from injury, well, you've already established some guys that you can feud with, so it should be interesting and should be entertaining. But there's a lot of changes that I would make, but there's just a few that I would do in terms of, on-screen stuff. Last question today comes from Jonathan Westcott. Do you think The Rock could play a role in any of the main event matches? No, I don't think he's going to play a role in the main event matches. I think he might come out, do a promo of some sort. Maybe he'll open up WrestleMania. Maybe the Legends will open up WrestleMania again. The Rock will come out, kind of be the host of WrestleMania, some sorts. Kind of do something like that. Maybe he'll have some interaction with the New Day, for example. Come help them out. But I'm hearing a lot of talk that perhaps The Rock will come out and assist Roman Reigns, help him win, try and get him over. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think The Rock will just kind of have a minor role, appear here and there, and do a segment or two. But I don't think he's going to come out in any of the main event matches. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. Now, this Sunday is WrestleMania, and on the forums, we're going to be having a huge WrestleMania chat. Everyone needs to be there. We can have a lot of people in the live chat, in the chat room, discussing WrestleMania live as it's happening. Last year it was great. We'd love to have you all there again this year. So if you are going to be watching it on the network, you've got your phone in front of you, you want to talk to someone, maybe none of your friends are wrestling fans, maybe you're just going to be watching it alone, or maybe you are, whatever you're doing, maybe you're at the pub, you just want to hear some interactions and kind of give you comments as the show's going on, whatever. Come join the live chat for WrestleMania. I'm going to be there. Heaps of people should be there. Big WrestleMania chat. Should be going all day. So it'll be a lot of hype for it. So make sure you join up the forums at brendanplace.com/forums. It is absolutely free. Make an account now and make sure you do get there for WrestleMania. And whilst you're on the forums, discuss WrestleMania. Give all your predictions for WrestleMania on the various topics on the forums. Would love to hear what you've got to say about WrestleMania on there. So I've already given my predictions and everything like that today. Would love to know what you guys are thinking. So, and other than that, I think I would love to know what you guys are thinking about WrestleMania so far. Are you excited for WrestleMania? Let me know in the comments and leave a question for. Well, actually, no. Make sure you're there for next week's live edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. I will let you guys know. I'll probably make a video about it before on Monday or something like that. Let you guys know what time I'm going to do it and all the details for that. So keep an eye out for that, or if not, at least on my Twitter and Facebook. So Brendan Plays is my Twitter, Brendan Plays Official is the Facebook, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you don't miss that. Of course, it will be available for the download and on YouTube for the playback later on. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. Enjoy WrestleMania. Hope to see you there on the live chat, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.